What's up, everybody? Today we're at a junkyard in Japan. We're here at Typhoon Motors, which is an automotive establishment here on Okinawa, Japan. It's on Marine Corps Base Camp Foster, and it's actually the only military-run junkyard on island. So it's not only a junkyard, they actually have an auto hobby shop and a parts store associated with Typhoon Motors, but again, part of it is the junkyard. So there's a lot of cars here, just some normal beaters and stuff, as you guys can see in the background. But as we're walking around, I'm going to highlight on a few kind of JDM Legends, some stuff that may or may not make you guys upset, or, you know, for us it's actually kind of a blessing and a good opportunity because it means that we get parts for our cars that are still running. So let's check out some of the rides. Here we've got a FD RX-7, and this thing is pretty stripped out. As you guys can see, the interior is mostly gone. It does look like it was a manual. Looks like the engine and transmission have already been stripped out. Interestingly enough, the 4-pot brakes are still in the car. I would have thought that those would have been taken already, but this thing, as you guys can see, it was pretty rusty, so it's not like it was exactly a pristine car, but still sad to see a FD this way. Got a JZX100 Mark II. It's a Toyota 4-door sedan, known very commonly in the drifting world. And let's see what engine is under the hood of this baby. Okay, so this is a 1G engine, so this is not one of the Tour V 1GZ GT powered cars. And looks like this one was definitely neglected during its time. The paint's pretty faded and stuff. So here we've got a Z32 300ZX, and the really sad part about this one is that it's actually a twin turbo, and it's a 5-speed manual as well. I don't know if you guys can see the shifter sticking out right next to the e-brake handle, but this one I actually know the background story on it. The owner actually PCS back to the States and he abandoned the car. It actually sat in a random parking lot for about a year until the proper authorities got onto it and picked it up. Here we've got a Toyota Celsior. It's pretty much the same as the LS400 in the States. Looks like somebody already grabbed the 4-pot front calipers, which I actually swapped onto my Supra. It's a good cheap upgrade for you guys that have the crappy 2-pot brakes up front. And pretty clean interior. I wonder why this was junked as opposed to just sold, because it looks like it's in really good shape. Here we've got a Subaru B4 Legacy. These are really common. You see these junked all the time. Here we've got a Toyota Altezza, similar to the IS300 in the States. This one looks like it's an automatic. And back here, you've got a ST162, I believe, Celica. And hey, there's a Cars and Coffee sticker. Small world. This one's a manual transmission. It's got a naturally aspirated 2.0. Yeah, there we go. ST162. I wonder why this thing was junked. Yeah. The sticker on the back says Johnny's Auto Sales. Johnny's Used Car Sales. Typically people pay a lot of money buying it from that particular company, and with all these stickers on the car, I imagine a car enthusiast probably owned it. So it's interesting to see that the car ended up here. We got some spacers on the back. Here we've got a Skyline known as a G35 in the States, but the chassis code for these are the V35. This is a 250 GT, so it's got a 2.5 liter V6. And I believe it's probably an automatic, most of them are. There we go, V35. But this is known as a Skyline here in Japan. So there's not a whole lot particularly special about this particular chassis, but what I thought was kind of unique and a good opportunity to show you guys is how crazy some of the factory aero can be on some of these cars. So this is a Nissan Arnesa. I think that's the proper way to say it. Looks like it's a Axis edition. But check out this aero. I mean, you've got a really aggressive rear section. The side skirts are a little bit more docile, and then you get up front, you've got this really, really long, kind of aggressive front bumper with some mesh and a fog light. And that's, I mean, this is from the factory. Like, you could buy the car this way. I think that's pretty crazy, and something that's definitely just like a family car. Here we've got a little something for the off-roaders out there, a Mitsubishi Harrow. These are pretty common out here in Japan. You can usually pick them up in running condition for about $3,000 or $4,000. And outside of the US, they're really common for off-roading. You don't see them as common in the States, but I know there's some cult followers that would probably hate to see us sitting here like this. Here we've got a Honda Tornillo SIR. This is similar to the Honda Accord in the States, but this one actually has the F20B motor. I'm not, where's the number plate? There it is. Let's see if you guys can see that. I'm not a huge Honda guy, but I imagine that that's a pretty sought after motor. Here we've got a Suzuki Jimny, which is a pretty common off-roader here in Japan, and the majority of them actually come with this 660cc engine. Yes, that is correct. Less than a liter. Actually significantly less than a liter, about 2/3 of a liter. And some of them are turbocharged, which it's actually pretty cool. Actually, I think this one's probably turbocharged. I can't see the turbo. Oh, that looks like a wastegate. And here's probably the giveaway, is the intercooler. But you pretty much have to have a turbo on these things to get them to move, because of the tiny size of the engine. But being a K-plate vehicle, for those of you that don't know, any vehicle with a 660cc or less size engine, you get a tax break, or just a general break in costs of the vehicle. Even just to use the tolls, you get a little bit cheaper price because of the size of the engine. This is kind of unique, all these zip ties holding in this particular intake pipe. But yeah, these are pretty common off-roaders here in Japan. They actually come with a solid front axle, and with a short wheelbase like this, you can do some pretty serious off-roading. This one's automatic, but they do come in a manual transmission as well. This one looks like a Freestyle World Cup edition. A Toyota Crown, and it doesn't look like it was particularly cared for during its life, just by the condition of the vehicle. But it's still sad to see these over here just being junked like this, because I think that they make a really good VIP platform. Here we've got a Mitsubishi Delica, which has kind of a cult following for off-roaders. This particular version is just a gas V6, but they do have some with a turbo diesel, and they're all four-wheel drive to the best of my knowledge. This particular one definitely is. And with the tires on, they have a lot of ground clearance, and like I said, they have kind of a cult following with the off-road community. So here we have another Suzuki Jimny, but this is actually kind of interesting, and it's cool because I can show you guys, and it's really unique that they're both in a junkyard, the same junkyard at the same time. But this is actually a Jimny wide, as they're known. As you guys can see, there's like fender flares which change the dimensions of the vehicle, and because it changes those dimensions, that brings it into a different class. It becomes a just normal white plate, a 500 class, as opposed to the K-car yellow plates. And because it changes the class, they can fit a larger motor. So this is actually a 1.1 liter 4-cylinder, as opposed to the turbocharged 660cc 3-cylinder that's in the normal K-plate Jimnys. So this one looks not very well taken care of. There's a lot of clear coat issues and rust. It does look like an automatic, and doesn't seem to be a special edition of any kind, so I don't know if there's too many hurt feelings about this particular one. Here we've got a couple, looks like kind of a dual sport bike. We've got this Harrow. I don't even know if that's a brand. I've never heard of that in my life. Maybe you guys know. And then there's this Kawasaki 250 TR. And they look like they've been sitting out here for quite a while. Look at the rust on that thing. So this section that we're about to check out is the customer storage section. So the vehicles here have not been officially junked. However, some of them that are here look like they're going to be starting that process pretty soon. But this area is definitely pretty sad because there's a lot of JDM Legends. Let's check them out. We've got a Toyota Aristo Vertex. I believe this is probably a twin turbo 2JZ version, but because these are the customer vehicles, I'm not gonna start opening them up and popping hoods or anything like that, but we can at least get some video footage of them. Here we've got a R33 Skyline. This one doesn't look too far gone, maybe salvageable. We'll see what happens with it. I think it's been here for a long time. This road tax sticker, for the Japanese year, you actually take this and subtract 12. So this is 2015, meaning that this vehicle hasn't been on the road since probably mid-2016. So about a year and a half already, and it does look like a manual transmission too. Here we've got a Z33 Fairlady Z, known as the 350Z in the States. Here we've got a X90 Chaser. And it looks like an automatic. I do not know if it's 1JZ or 1G powered, but like I said, we're not going to open up their cars to find out. Here we've got a JZX100 Chaser. Looks like the drivetrain is stripped already. And next to it, we've got a R33 Skyline GTST. Looks like it's in pretty rough shape, and looks like the engine and transmission is missing as well from it. And here we've got another R33 Skyline, and this one looks like it's probably a GTS because it does not have the full pot brake calipers up front. But still sad to see R33 sitting this way. Here we've got a couple R32 Skylines. This one is a GTST, so it's rear-wheel drive with a RB20 DET, and then this is a GTR. This one was obviously involved in a pretty serious accident, and I hope that the driver is okay because that does not look like a very good day. Here we've got a A86 hatchback that looks like it's been sitting for a very long time. I actually really want to pick one of these up. I think I'll grab one from the States because they seem to be a little bit cheaper there. But it's definitely a sad day to see a Hachiroku like this. Here we've got the Typhoon Motors, I guess show car, poster car, I don't know the best way to refer to it. It looks like it's been deregistered. It's probably been off the road for a little while. So I don't know if there's is something they plan on rebuilding or what, but this is definitely like an advertising opportunity for them. Got a Nissan Silvia. Looks like it's definitely seen a lot of sideways action. You can kind of see the cage in the interior here. Got an R34 sedan right here. It looks like a GT or maybe a 25 GT. It is definitely not a GTR because the GTR was not available in the sedan, and it's not a GTT, which is the turbocharged version based on the badge right here. So this is a 25 GT, which means it has a naturally aspirated RB25 Neo. If it said GTT there, then it would have the turbocharged RB25 Neo. Got another Nissan Silvia here. Support your local satanic mechanic. Okay. Got a couple cars under wraps. Again, not gonna mess with these because these are customer vehicles. But this definitely looks like a S30 Datsun. Don't know about that one. I see some Nissan brake calipers. Here we've got an A86 Coupe, maybe 11. Don't know what the front end is. But this one actually looks pretty clean, so maybe this is just here for some long-term storage. FDRX7 over here. Another FDRX7. There we got a Nissan Silvia with the owner swapping some stuff out. The Toyota Celica, SW20 MR2, and the later generation, they're called MRSs over here. Another one, got a C4 Vet, and I don't know what's under wraps there. It looks like it's got some stern wheels on it. I don't know what that is. That about wraps it up for our visit here to the Typhoon Motors storage lot and junkyard. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If I come back in a couple months and there seems to be a better selection or some different cars out here, then I will definitely shoot another video. But this is actually probably the highlight of some of the cars that I've seen since my 2.5 years of being here in Okinawa. So again, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm sorry I sound a little funny. I'm a little bit under the weather, but I was here, I saw the cars, I know you guys want the content. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.